Hello my friends, welcome to the second video of the Standing Orders Act under the Labour Law 1. In the previous video, we discussed about the objectives and the registration process including section 3 and section 4 of the Standing Orders Act. In this video, we shall be discussing about the certification of the standing orders along with other provisions of the appeal under the Standing Orders Act. So friends, let's get started. So friends, section 5 of this act talks about the certification of the standing orders. On receipt of the draft under section 3, the certifying officer shall forward a copy thereof to the trade union if any of the workmen or where together with the notice in prescribed form as required with the objections if they have any, which the workmen may desire to make changes to the draft standing orders. Now after giving the employers and the trade union or such other representative of the workman as may be prescribed on an opportunity of being heard, the certifying officer shall decide whether or not any modifications or addition to the draft submitted by the employer is necessary to render the draft standing orders certifiable under this act or not. The officer shall thereupon certify the draft standing order after making any modification as may be prescribed or required under subsection 2 of this act and shall within 7 days thereafter send the copies of the certified standing orders authenticated in the prescribed manner and of his order under this subsection to the employer and to the trade union or other prescribed representative of the workman. So that means, my friend, that the time period of the certification has also been provided along with the copies, numbers and modification, amendment process or amendment possibilities under section 5. So my friends, let's move on to the next section of the Standing Orders Act. The next section of the Standing Orders Act is appeal of the standing orders. Any employer, workman, trade union or other prescribed representative of the workman who is aggrieved by the orders of the certifying officer may appeal to the appellate authority within prescribed time period, that is 30 days from the day on which the copies are being sent to them. The appellate authority may confirm the standing orders as certified or may make notifications or modifications to render them certifiable, and it has to send the copies of the same to the concerned person within 7 days of the orders. That is, my friends, section 7 of the act. Now my friends, when we were discussing about the certification of the standing orders, we stated that the purpose of framing the standing orders and getting them certified by the certifying officer is that the conditions of the service of the employment shall be regulated by it. Then what if the modifications that has been suggested or that has been done in the standing order is affecting it adversely, or it is not fulfilling the exact objective that it has to? Answering this question, in Barauni Refinery PSP versus Indian Oil Corporation Limited and others, it was held that no modification in standing order is permissible when the settlement relating to the matter is in operation. That means that if any differentiation of the rules and regulation is coming which is even still under the process of the settlement, then there cannot be any modifications in the rule with regard to the same thing. In this case, the age of the superannuation was raised from 58 years to 60 years and which was held to be invalid because the method or rather the process was still under the changes. It was still under the settlement, and when the matter is in the course of the settlement, the demand in respect of the age of the retirement was not exceeded to, and that is the reason the modification in the standing order, if it is affecting or if it is not fulfilling the objective of the act is happening, then it should be held invalid. When we are also talking about the appeal of the standing orders, my friend, it becomes very important that we keep in mind certain very important aspects with regard to the appeals of the standing orders. The appellate authority do have certain powers with them. Any employer or workman can, they of course, if they are not satisfied with the order, they can go ahead with the appeal to the appellate authority. The appellate authority do have certain powers to modify the standing orders also. It has to, of course, after due process, send the modified copy to the certifying officer and also to the concerned party within 7 days. But let's keep in mind one point, my friends, that there is no specific provisions in the Act empowering the appellate authority to correct the mistakes of the certifying officer. The powers of the appellate authority is exceeded, and if the powers are being fulfilled, or rather the powers are used in a correct way, then the justification to this section 6 can be given. What if the dates are changing? That happened in one of the cases, my friends. In one of the very well-known case, that is Bail Employees Association versus Chief Labour Commissioner, the copy of the certified standing orders dated 31st December 1984, they were sent by the registered post on 5th January 1985, and the same which was received on 7th January. The union sent the memorandum of the appeal by registered post on 4th February, which reached to the appellate authority on 8th February, my friends. This appeal was rejected as barred by the limitation of the time. It was held that the appeal was not time barred because the appeal which was sent on the 4th February in ordinary course of the post should have reached before the 7th February. Petitioner cannot be held responsible for any delay which was caused in the transit when it was used sufficient care to see that the papers were mailed in time so that they could reach to the appellate authority in proper time period. So my friends, in this case it was held that appellate authority he was directed to dispose of the appeals on the merits itself. Why? Because due process and due care has been taken by the parties to reach to the appellate authority. If the transit period has been missed out, or if it is missing on any of that part, then it is not the fault of the party. When we are mentioning the certifying officer for so many times, it would of course pop a question in our mind that what do you mean by certifying officer? The definition is there on screen, as you can see, my friends. The certifying officer under the Standing Order Act means regional labor commissioner or any other officer appointed by the appropriate government by the notification in the official gazette to perform all or any of the functions of the certifying officer under this act. What are the powers of the certifying officer? The power of the certifying officer has been enshrined under section 11 of this act. If you can see it at glance on the screen, every certifying officer and the appellate authority shall have all the powers of the civil code for the purpose of receiving evidence, administering the oaths, enforcing the attendance witnesses, compelling the discovery and production of the documents, etc. These power of the certifying officer, as you can see on the screen, can be classified in the given way. Every certifying officer and appellate authority shall have all the powers of the civil code for the purpose of first receiving the evidences. That means, my friend, that they can ask for the evidences, they can attach the evidences as the civil code. Second, to administer the oaths. That means they can take the records, they can take the statements of the parties on oath. They have that power. The next power, which is of the certifying officer, is to enforce the attendance of the witnesses. That means, my friend, that they can compel the attendance of the witness whenever it is needed. The last one is the discovery and the production of the documents. That means, my friend, that every certifying officer and appellate authority is deemed to be civil code within the meaning of section 345 of the Code of the Criminal Procedure 1973. And that means, my friend, that they have all the powers as of the civil code for these purposes. So my friends, this was all about the powers of the certifying officer along with the appeal section, and of course the limitation that has been barred by the or certain classification or certain rules and regulations that has been provided by the Act of the Standing Orders. In the next session, we shall be moving further with the penalties and the procedure, and of course the further issues that has to be dealt under the Act. Till then, keep learning and stay tuned.